Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factory Town, where it has been a little bit of a while since the last episode. I swear it's only been like a week, but apparently it's been more like 2, so oops, but let's get back to it and pick up roughly where we left off, though, as I've said multiple times about this game, it's one of those where you just kind of bounce around a load of different tasks, whatever happens to take your attention at any one moment, and it all contributes at the end of the day, just a little bit haphazard in how it's dealt with, but I did spot something weird going on here. Yeah, we seem to be building up a supply of entirely nails, which isn't what we want, so I'm going to quickly try and fix this. Not that I'm sure I can. Yeah, hold on. We got to shut this thing down. Can you just stop making... Can you stop making nails for a minute? I'm just going to stop making the nails. So I noticed an interesting thing, which is that when the storage of iron ore empties out in this thing, it stops making iron plates, because iron plates require 2 ore, and screws require 1. It just keeps making screws as fast as it can until it can't make screws anymore, and apparently I didn't set this up right because this wasn't filtered for iron plates. I think I just made 1 filtered for nails, and then the rest weren't for anything. I'm not even sure what I did, but I didn't do it right, that's for sure. So, need to do something about that. Actually, now I'm wondering, like, have other filters disappeared? Because I thought oh no, this one's got stuff on it. A bit weird, because I thought I did put filters on it. But maybe I'm just going mad. But yeah, now this thing is just making the plates, which is nice. However, we still have vast amounts of nails in here. I suppose, slowly but surely, they'll get used up making reinforced planks, so maybe we'll be okay in that way. We can just hope and wait. I'll leave that for the moment, I think. We'll let the iron build up, because then that'll drain the screws, and we can maybe do... Oh, well, the nails even, we can maybe do something about it. Yeah, I'm not allowed to, like, click the item filter button on an occupied slot, which is weird. Not sure what to do about that, apart from leave it for a bit and hope that it empties out enough that I could do something. Then again, it's just going to fill with iron plates as well. Unless I use the reinforced planks. Well, what are they used for? We got some upgrades we can do to things. This all wants cloth. Oh yeah, there we go. So the next upgrade after is reinforced planks. We could do that. Also 200 gold coins. Interesting. Let's go for it. Even though I'm pretty sure that makes life more difficult for me, I think I'm just going to spam this button because it means that I can use up the reinforced planks, which is useful. And yeah, it looks like that upgrade doesn't give us any new types of material. In fact, it seems like that's the final level. It's not asking for any more stuff beyond there, so I suppose level 5 is the final house level. Interesting. Oh, there we go. We've used up all of our reinforced planks. Whoops. That's fine. They'll get used. They'll get replenished. Now we just need 5 cloth, but apparently we're out. I see a bunch built up here, but what's the... Where do they get stored? I'm not actually sure. Do they get stored? Apparently so, because I was just able to do that. Let me check this system here. So we've got them outputting here, and goes into there for cloth, goes this way, and up into here for... Where does cloth get stored? Have I got a wagon doing it? Oh, is it back here? Oh yeah, we do have a cloth store, just a small one. We got a wagon back there that's taking the stuff and... Right, and that's probably not able to function unless these things are built up, but it's doing okay. There we go. Also, I was wondering what the hell was on that conveyor belt for a second, but it's trees poking through it. Okay. Right. So this is now draining. There we go, yeah, that's looking better. So, can I... Yeah, that does have a filter for nails. I'd like to switch it to iron plates. We probably want it like 50-50, right? Or maybe more leaning towards iron plates. Iron plates seem important. More so than nails, generally? Like, in terms of stuff I want to build. I mean, technically you'd expect nails to be the far more required material in real-life construction, but then in video games it's usually just blocks of iron that people like for the purposes of building. I mean, we could check just, like, what our buildings require. Oh, we got our new worker, the harvester drill. that we'll have to test out, though it requires gears and iron wheels, so we need a machine shop for that stuff. I know we can build one, but I don't know if we... Like, I don't know what we can do with it, and if we're quite ready. The apothecary requires some iron plates, otherwise everything's requiring, like, reinforced planks, which require nails, so maybe we just keep it 50-50. So I'm gonna set you to nails, and then this one's finished emptying, set you to nails, and there we go. So 2 for nails, 2 for iron plates, that should all work now. So I will reselect the recipe. Now it will make nails before it makes iron plates, but it will then build up the nails till that's full and then start making the plates. So it'll work out in the end. It'll be slightly weird in how it goes, but it will function at least. One thing at a time. Okay, now there is another issue, something that someone's been pointing out to me. I keep making this mistake, and I need to basically unlearn certain things about factory games here, because what I keep doing is putting buffer systems in. You don't actually want that in this game, because barns are also basically your crafting inventory. So you want to be able to stockpile stuff in them that won't be drained out, and by having them be the buffer system, there's always a potential that it can empty. In fact, it's doing that right now, meaning that I don't have access to any nails or any iron plates, but I need those for construction purposes. I at least need iron plates, and I'm sure something will come along later on that requires nails when I make it myself, which means this needs to not be a buffer, this needs to be a storage. And so I need to work something out here. I think basically I just need to make some bypassing conveyors that go round it. Things I'd kind of like to have both now. I'd like to have a buffer system and a storage. So another way of doing it... Actually, yeah, I think a better way of doing it, thinking about it, is the addition of another barn. So one barn is the buffer barn, and then we have another barn which is the just straight up storage barn. So I'm going to plonk this here. And I think this will be the central barn for all products in surrounding barns. So right now, we're not storing up any coal potentially because it could all go in there, though admittedly that seems like it's always going to be well provisioned enough not to be a problem. Yeah, we want these to split off and go in here to a small degree, but then we still want this to function as a buffer for everything else. And we also would like the reinforced reinforced planks. Nearly said reinforced iron plates, satisfactory again. We need the reinforced planks being stored in here to some degree as well, so that we can make machine shops and things like that. So, we'll set up the filters first, and I think this is just going to be a stack per. So this is our emergency backup supply if the buffer is empty. There will be some in here, and if I empty out some of it, then some other supply will be split off and sent in here. And this final one, we'll put it on... a thing that doesn't exist? No, that's a dangerous game to play. Let's put it on jewelry. These are all categories. I shouldn't actually be using categories because a lot of things fit in a category. Fuel! There we go. I don't know if that even makes sense. Is fuel actually a material? I'm pretty sure it's just a value that a building can have. So that's a good way of making sure nothing could ever go in that slot. Okay, and then we need to do... our pretty standard system back here. Also, I want to delete these so people can walk around underneath if necessary. And then let's remember my systems here. Grabber. Set them to screws. I keep saying screws. Satisfactory again. No, I don't want to add logic. Stop. No. No logic, please. I forgot what the deselect key is. It's Z. There we go. And this one needs to be iron plate. Sorted. Okay, so now... oh yeah, we need to put the actual belts on. I was being smart and putting the belts on after I put the grabbers on. There we go. This will now take the supply. And hopefully it will also basically split the iron plate supply between sending it to the storage and sending it on to production, which is about what we want really in terms of priorities. Now the issue is at the moment this thing's only making nails, and it will only make nails until this and this are full of nails. So, yeah, but then it'll work it in the end. It will build up its supply and it will start making the plates. One thing we could do is massively reduce the production rate of this building. Let's have one guy in it, because then the iron ore might actually build up enough between crafts to be able to make iron plate. There we go. Now have we got the ratio right, or is it too much? I think we need to speed it up again a bit. It seems like it's going too slow now. We don't want the iron building up. That means we've got an efficiency. So we'll put up to 145. Keep an eye on this. Got to 6, got to 7 very briefly. If it gets to 7 again, we need to speed it up more. Got to 7 again, it stayed there longer. Putting up to 3 workers. Still hitting 7, but it might stop in a second. Actually, it seems like it's pretty balanced right now. Yep, 1 more. Okay, 4 workers apparently then. Like, we want it to not quite be filling up, so it will be spending some time not making iron plates or something like that. But ultimately, everything that goes in will be crafted, and we will get a mix of plates and nails out of it. Right now it's burning through its supply. I might actually switch it back to 3 workers, maybe. Or what I should do, really, is switch it back to 3 workers and then improve people's happiness so that we're somewhere between 3 and 4 workers. It's flipping about everywhere because everyone's happiness keeps changing. There we go, it's burned through its supply and it's still making plates and nails. And that should continue. Very nice. And, oh, none of it is going in here. But it is going in there. Now, why is that? Is there a priority system then? I just assumed it would, like, alternate, but maybe one of them's getting precedence. And it's not this one. That's a problem, and that won't work then. There is another way we could do it. We could use splitters. It'll be slightly fiddlier, but it will actually then work, potentially. Like, if we were to split this here, send half this way, and if we were to then bring iron ingots out here, split that, and send half this way. In fact, we could do a 2-layer thing. We've got to remember that we do have the ground layer that we can work with if we need to. Maybe it's time to utilize that. Yeah, let's build that. So, gotta remember, there we go, grabber. On the ground, on the ground level. Gotta remember my keys. There we go. And your purpose is to grab iron plates. We'll delete this one. And then, oh no wait, this won't work because there's not enough room for a grabber and a splitter. Of course I realized that immediately after deleting the working structure. Yeah, this is actually a lot more awkward. There's a way of making it work. It's just annoying. Okay, yeah, let's cut away some of this stuff here. That can stay. We'll delete this for now, and let's think about this. So we'll do it on the ground first. So grabber coming out this way, but then the belt will go sideways, because that's the thing. The grabber just deposits it on the belt. It doesn't determine the direction. Belt then goes this way, and then this way. Also, the grabber needs to get its filter applied before it starts doing dumb things. Then all we need is a splitter here. And that will work. It will split between the two. And we'll get a supply in both. And then we just need to duplicate that further up. Let's do that in a fancy way with some nice structural stuff. I think that's right. Yep, the stuff still moves. Just do that all the way along. It's going to be a nightmare to edit this later if I want to do that. In fact, let's make this higher so there is a bit more room to work with in future if we absolutely need to. And then same setup. Set this to filter nails. And then belt, belt, belt. And that will now work. 50-50 between the two things. So the storage should always be absolutely fine. And then the buffer will also get some so we can always have some production running if all else fails. Now how's this going? Yeah, it built up a supply of nails for a minute. It's now going to spend some time working through its supply. Okay, next we need to do the same thing with this. It's the same structure. Can this do any... Oh yeah, this is a workshop bit. I was going to say, can this do anything else? The answer is absolutely yes. Can it do anything else we want it to do? There's shoes. Oh, wooden axes are a thing. They do use iron plates. It seems like iron plates might be something we need a lot of production of later down the line, so we might want to expand from this kind of setup. It's the thing, at the end of the day, this is my first playthrough, so I'm learning as I go what is needed in what sort of quantities. And really, I should have expected that iron plate is needed in vast quantities, but we're already here, and I'll develop a better system next time. Okay, so yeah, we'll just go doop, doop, and then splitter here. The grabber doesn't have a filter. Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna put one on in case I forget that I haven't done that later and it becomes important. And then belt, belt, belt. And there we go. What does this get planks from? Is it actually just a wagon delivery? Huh. I suppose if it works, it works. Where's it getting them from? This one? I'm not understanding that because this one outputs already. There's not going to be a build-up of planks. What am I missing here? Oh no, it's going... it's going from the barn here. Oh, have planks changed how they look? I feel like they might have. There have been a couple of little updates since the last episode. Bits and bobs here and there. Nothing major, but a lot of little bug fixes and quality of life things. I've forgotten all of them right now, but I'll remember them later when they're relevant, so you'll know then what the cool stuff is. Yes, and that works. It's getting its planks from here, and presumably these are building up just fine. Hang on, I've got stuff selected again. There we go. Yeah, there's loads in here, and then there's also space for wagon wheels. And these aren't outputting anywhere, and that's the key. Well, actually, they are via that wagon, which is technically a problem. Again, like pretty much every part of this town, I've made the same mistake about how I'm making everything a buffer rather than a storage. It's gonna keep biting me, but now I know the system, I can start applying that in places. That'll fix things slowly. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go over to the plank situation because this is a mess and it's been a mess for a while. How's our research doing right now? It's slow, but it's getting there. We've almost got railways. We're most of the way there. Yeah, right now half of our wood is going that way, and the other half is going to planks, and then some of that's been being taken away for other purposes. Barely any of it is ultimately getting to the houses, which is a problem because right now that's the only thing we're providing. But I have realised something about what I could do here, because I've been struggling. I was struggling when it was stone brick, so I cut off the stone brick and switched to planks, and I was struggling with planks, and I realised, why don't I just do both? I could have just been doing both this whole time. There is still, actually, no, we changed this. Yeah, this is now a storage. It's not a buffer, so everything spare can be moving on here. We can have a splitter here to make sure that some of it is going into the workshop making the conveyor belts, which currently is doing nothing because of a lack of wagon wheels. We'll have to fix that in a second. But yeah, we could just have a splitter here and then send the rest off to the general store, and that'll really help. So I'm going to do that. Should have done this a while back, because it makes a whole lot of sense. Oh, there we go. Conveyor belts going onwards and inwards, and then we just need a splitter here. Doesn't actually matter which way the belt goes, it will push them correctly anyway. And yeah, so this is going to be a real boost for happiness, get us some red coins as well, not that we really need many of them. And we'll immediately see things going up. I think it was around about 30 before. We might actually hit 40, which will give us the next speed boost to buildings. Yeah, there we go. Oh, in fact, we can even upgrade the base right now. There, let's do that. House max increased by 5. Has it been going up by 4 this whole time? Interesting that it switched to 5. What's the next one require? Mana crystals, produced by the Magic Forge. Okay, a little bit later down the line, that stuff, and also 50 happiness, so we might be able to hit that. I think it might be a brief boost, and then we're in trouble again because the stone brick's going to slow down quite significantly. Yeah, there it goes. These guys have got work to do again now. How's this thing doing? Running full pelts, not getting enough stone. Yeah, stone. Again, we have the problem that this is a buffer, not a storage. The only reason it's working as a storage right now is because it's being loaded quicker than it's being emptied. So we need to fix that. We need to have a second one or something like that, basically. I suppose, for want of a better solution, I will actually just build a second barn. Also, I notice there's terrain issues here, which are hard to see because of the grass everywhere, but we can just have a mouse over and see if there's any warped tiles. Yep, seems like that's all flat now. Oh, back here there's a little bit. Can raise that up maybe? Oh, we can't because the barn being built there already. That's fine. Alright, another barn. Plonk. And then literally just a belt going into it. Grabber. I'm not going to bother putting a filter on this grabber. This is definitely just a stone storage. Cloth conveyor belts. And just in case we've got other things we can use this for, I will... Hang on. Wait, you... Stop a second. You can't set filters once there's something in it. So I'm just going to delete that so I can apply the filter of stone. And then same for you. And then you can be berry cake. You can be berry cake. Here we go. So we can put other stuff in here if we want to later. Activate that. That'll take half of it away. It's going to mean that there's definitely not enough being delivered to the stonemason. Do we have a wagon spare somewhere? Yeah, this guy's not doing anything. Oh, you. There we go. Select. Carry stone to the stonemason. I think I did that right. I forget what all the symbols are sometimes. We'll see if it does its job. And if it does, then this thing will run constantly. Yeah, there we go. It's delivering it. Actually, though, there's another thing we could do here. You stop for a second. Because I do hear that chutes are quicker than belts. And that also, logic stuff works on them just the same as it works on belts. So actually, I wonder if I just do this. And then get a grabber. That actually probably goes quicker. It might actually be quick enough that this thing no longer needs to be supplied by a wagon. And indeed it is building up, so there we go. Using chutes is actually quicker than at least the basic belts. Right, can you like deposit your stuff in there? There we go. And then go hang around somewhere where I'll spot you if I need a wagon. Okay. So yeah, that is a good solution there. It's even building up now. And that is also, most likely, a solution to our problem here. So what I'm going to do, go through this whole thing, and replace it all with chutes. In fact, we can do it in stages. Grabber, grabber. And then chute, and another chute. Run it along. Can I then... No, I'm not allowed to build it here until I remove the... Yeah, so you can see they're going super fast there, and then they get to the belt and they go super slow. So let's fix that. In fact, it seems like you can't load from a belt onto a conveyor from a conveyor onto a belt very efficiently. It seemed like it wasn't making good use of the belt there. So that's something to note, that maybe it's not a good idea to transition from chutes to belts, unless I guess maybe you have multiple chutes going onto a belt. It'll be okay. Yeah, this seems like more of a gap than it should be. Maybe hard to say. Maybe it is actually right. Yeah, looking at this food belt, it's about the same, really. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Okay, continuing. I have to put the splitter back in. Shoot. Okay, no, not quite like that. Right, if I draw a straight line, it gets rid of any curve I'm currently working on. Good to know. Oh, and actually, we'll also want it like that. Oh, we don't even need a splitter now. It'll give priority to that, and then go... Well, we probably want a splitter anyway, because we don't want it all going that way. Continue that all along. Maybe it'll work, actually. I mean, it doesn't need a huge supply of planks. Of logs, even. Probably a dangerous game to play, having it have priority. but I don't know that there's ever any time when it can... Yeah, that's the speed it runs. As long as the supply is better than that, it's going to be fine. Oh, look at that. It looks like 2 of these aren't enough anymore. Interesting. Let's just crank them up to ridiculous speeds. How's one of them going at super fast? The wood isn't even building up. Yeah, these are way quicker. I kind of suspected it, but I hadn't really bothered actually testing it out. But yeah, these are way quicker. There we go. This thing's not filling up. This one is now by running it at 300, 400%, whatever it was. I'm just gonna bring it back down to 1 speed. It doesn't even need it. This is building up now. Yeah, the limitation is back here. We need to carry on transferring this all to chutes. And I guess like that. Technically we should give this one priority because it'll be a problem otherwise. It's the one that feeds the storage. So we'll put that there and then hopefully that'll still work. Yep, so they're all going into there. Building up very rapidly in there. And then when that's done they should carry on. So yeah, it turns out logic works on chutes, making chutes ridiculously awesome. You know what, just for the sake of it, I'll put a splitter there to make sure that some is always going to get through. This thing's definitely going to be well provided enough. This is very slowly emptying. So yeah, that's the rate of production. 365% in that one, 140% in that one. So basically, 5 of these running at speed 1. The issue that's coming up now is all the trees have died. Oops. Alright, that's something to bear in mind, that we can't just run these full pelt unless they're properly surrounded by trees. Let's slow you down. I wonder what rate they can work with. What are the recipes are there? It's just trees. I don't think there's any way to like boost the growth rate of trees. I don't know how quick they do grow. That's relatively slowly, which isn't surprising, really. Yeah, one thing we can do is plant more trees, so let's do that. Tree planter. Needs iron and fertilizer. Interesting combination. Let's just plonk these everywhere where they can be plonked. What's the coverage of this? It's always a bit confusing. I think it's supposed to be like if there's a building inside the yellow tile. No, it's the yellow tile shows the coverage. There we go. Yeah, that's the edge of it. So if you're on a yellow tile, you're good. I was a little bit confused for a second there. All right, fill all that in. And then we've got to put the actual trees on, presumably. So where's plant tree? There it is. Needs wood. We don't have any in storage. Oh yeah, none of it goes to storage. It all just... Hey you, you're wood storage now. Oh dear. Let's just have... scaffold block. Coming off like the side here. Oh, there we go. Chute that turns. And then splitter. And there we go. Bit of a supply of those. It's going to take a little while. I think we can crank these up at the moment. They're running full speed. Let's have both of them with 5 workers. Nice and even. Yeah, there we go. They're all coming back at once now. It's going to take a while to work out what the balance we can strike is here. Right, now we can get to planting. So, plant tree on all of these. Oh, we've got to wait a little while to actually have the wood. I mean, I suppose I can just have the buildings cranked up to max and they'll always just chop down a tree as quick as possible. If all the trees are in a chop down state most of the time, then that will be the highest growth rate. That's something worth considering. So if we're not using the workers for anything else, it makes absolute sense to just be like, yep, go nuts. 700% between you. You'll get it done. Yeah, it'll work. It'll blast through them. It'll be the most effective utilization of the trees. And there we go. Much better supply of planks now, so the happiness is going to be doing fantastically, I should hope. It doesn't look like it is here, though, to be fair. Yeah, all these plank supplies are terrible still. Are we still working on that? What's the limitation? Right now everything's being split a lot, I suppose. Half it's going in here for a minute till that's full. I gotta say, these are just not going so quick anymore. Yeah, they're just... This one's unloading... It's not unloading. Why is it stopped? There's a log on there that's not moving. That's weird, and seems like it shouldn't be the case. I'm gonna put this back. It might be that having this much activity is breaking the game slightly. In fact, what I should do... Hold on, let's cut this back a little bit. We probably need more space between them to make sure that weird glitches and stuff can't happen, thinking about it. So let's do that. In fact, do we even need it to be a corner? Because thinking about it, I didn't have the other one as a corner. It just worked anyway. If I now just go grab her here, there they just go. So these ones are waiting right now for this one to empty out, but once it does, these can start to move in. So this is now like a maximum rate of supply, presumably. Some of them are stopping at times, which is a little bit weird. Yeah, it's a bit of a traffic jam. There's weirdness going on, but it's quicker than belts is the key thing. I can't really complain that it's slow and or that there's any weirdness with like brief stoppages when overall it is going quicker than a conveyor belt at any one moment. And yeah, right now it seems like there's actually enough for supply of wood between the old and new trees that these are doing fine. Though, may have spoken too soon. We'll see how this all continues. Oh, I've missed a tree. Can't have that. Plant tree. There you go. And there's even more, like, trees I could have access to, potentially. Though, theoretically, I should only think about, like, this section, because if I continue to expand it out, then each forester is essentially going to have a 3x5 plot of trees that it has access to. Right now, they're spoiled. Later on, they'll struggle a bit more. Yeah, this one's emptying easily, but this one's just not able to. Which is probably good, ultimately. Okay, so how's this looking now? We've got a build-up of logs in that one, and not in this one. And they both just got one worker in them. They're not, like, going super fast or anything like that. But we are getting, like, a build-up of planks here, though. We might be all right yet. We might get a complete full supply of planks. I still kind of want more wood coming in. Maybe this is enough though. Let's see how the happiness is looking now. We're at 45, and now there's still some that aren't being provided for in terms of materials. Some are doing fantastically, some are doing terribly. I wish it would just give planks to the ones that had the least happiness from planks, rather than seeming to be random. As far as I can tell, I'm not really sure what determines it at all, honestly. Also, we've got a couple more houses to upgrade, I imagine. There we go. All of them are at level 5. We can put more homes in. We can put another 9 homes in if we want to. I wouldn't even know where to put them, I'll be honest. We're kind of running out of space. It's got to be within range of this, and do we have any others? Can't remember if I've actually built the third anywhere, but I don't see it, so presumably I haven't. Oh, but we've just completed the research for railways. We've unlocked rails, rail stops, rail tiles, mining, and minecarts. The research of mining, interesting. Rails and minecarts can be used to quickly transport lots of goods. Place rails and rail stops next to buildings to automatically deposit or withdraw goods from a building. Set the item filter on the minecart to restrict type of goods picked up. Excellent. Let's pick the next research then. What do we have? Ah yes, mining unlocks the mine. That's the one we want. It uses blue coins, and will presumably take a while, but we need it so we can get a consistent supply of stone and coal from places, though admittedly we're doing relatively okay right now. We still need to get rid of this giant thing here. But still, we'll get on with mining research. And yeah, it'll take a while, because it's 12 things, 12 writing supplies per research. It's been pointed out to me that there are other things I can use, books and enchanted books, and they are much more effective, so maybe that's something I can look into as well. But again, a million different routes to take here. There's always different stuff to be looking at. There's so much going on. But yeah, we're continuing to advance, like in one area or another. Our wood supply is now much, much better, and that's fantastic news for happiness and just anything derived from wood, essentially. And yeah, we're now hanging around the mid-40s when before we were like struggling to maintain 30. So that's a pretty good sign. Bonus production to all our buildings. Very nice. We'll see if we can continue work with that in the future. But that's all we have time for today, so I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.